Tribune sports writer Chris Yukas, and I'm here with NT sports editor Kevin Klum and sports writer Jared Bell. Today on NT Prep Preview, we're going to take a look at the area prep football playoff picture. Kevin, there's a pair of undefeated teams in Ottawa that are hoping for a big postseason run. What do the matchups between the Pirates and the Crew have in store for us this weekend?
Well, I think the Crusaders have the obviously easier matchup. They're playing Chicago Lutheran North, a team that they already beat pretty easily just a couple weeks ago. I believe it was 40-6 in that game. So I think Marquette should easily move on to the second round, and even then they have a chance to go further than that. And Ottawa, I think they have a good chance to win as well, but they have a little bit more difficult matchup. They're playing a Normal community program that is used to being in the playoffs. This is the 17th year in a row for Normal to be in the playoffs. But I think being at home and Ottawa having had a good season and been tested recently, they should be able to move on as well.
Jared, the boys from Ottawa aren't the only kids in the area looking for a good run this postseason. What are some of the other playoff matchups from area teams?
Well, it's hard to believe that there's more playoff teams in the city of Ottawa because they're 18-0 this year, and it seems like a lot of the talk has been about them. But we also have St. B, who will travel to Monmouth, where they will play Monmouth-Roseville at Monmouth College at 6 o'clock on Saturday. The Bruins, one of the 7-2 teams playing Monmouth-Roseville, so it's kind of a toss-up, a game you hope that they can win, especially on the road. You would hope that the Big River Conference has really kind of prepared them for the playoffs, but I guess we'll find out. Speaking of the Big Rivers, you also have Amboy Lamoille, who will play host to North Shore Country Day at home, another Northeastern Athletic Conference school. That's three of them we mentioned here already. So, but it's a 7-2 versus a 7-2 matchup. You would hope and think that it was a pretty easy win for Amboy Lamoille. If Marquette can beat North Shore Country Day pretty easy, you would think that the Clippers could do it as well. Amboy Lamoille should hopefully have a start of a good run.
Well, who do you guys think will have the deepest postseason run this fall?
I'm going to go with the Clippers. I saw them play on Friday night against Sterling Newman, and their defense is fantastic, which obviously is going to help you in the playoffs. Their offense didn't look so hot against Newman, but it's Newman, and they're very good. They're ranked number 1 for a reason. And Amboy has had a really good season. They're 7-2. They only lost to Newman and St. Bede, so they beat some good teams and they lost 2 close games. And they have a pretty good matchup, like Jared said, that North Shore Country Day should not be too difficult for them in the first round. And in the second round, I think they have a winnable game as well.
So keep in mind as well, this isn't necessarily who we think is the best teams. A lot of this has to do with matchups as well. So I think we can all agree that out of the 4 teams in our area that have made the playoff, that Ottawa is probably the best. But they would most likely have the quickest exit. So, based on draws, you'd like to think Marquette would have a pretty good chance. They've already beaten Lutheran North, like we said. They would have a second-round game, maybe against Forston, which might be a challenge, before getting to the state quarterfinals against teams like Stockton or Lena Winslow, and Stockton is number 1 in the state. But I agree, Amboy also should have a very good run. They have a really good draw. If they win, they would either go most likely to Orion or to Eastland Pearl City, which Eastland Pearl City has had a lot of trouble in the past in the playoffs with Big Rivers teams, so you could even see the Clippers getting to the quarterfinals, where they may have to face like a Morrison or a Mercer County, who's number 1 in the state, in the quarterfinals.
I'm going to have to agree with Jared. It doesn't happen very often, but I think that Marquette is probably going to have the deepest postseason run this year. Well, now it's time for everybody's favorite segment here on NT Prep Preview, NT Prep Preview Powerhouse Players. Roll that tape, touchdown.
Powerhouse
Players of the week.
Powerhouse Players of the Week.
Powerhouse Players of the Week. How's that?
Sorry, Kevin, but that gets me every single week. Especially with Chris's rapping, pretty clever, I like that. But one of the first performers for the NT Prep Powerhouse Players, did I get that right? That's right there.
Powerhouse.
One of the top performers last week was Ottawa running back Michael Hermosillo, who is no stranger to this segment. Last week in a conference clinching win at Sterling, he ran for 169 yards and 2 TDs. As the Pirates had to rally to win at Sterling, which is always a very tough place for our teams.
And then next up we have Nathan Helly, who I believe is making his first appearance in this segment this season. He's had some injuries this year, so he's missed some games, but he's been a pretty solid player. But on Friday night he was very good in River Valley's 3rd win of the season, which I think we had in the paper the other day that beats what they've had in the last 6 years combined. But Helly ran for 173 yards, He caught a touchdown pass, and he also threw for a 64-yard pass. So he did a little bit of everything in that win.
The old triple option there, yeah. From a pair of offensive stars to a defensive star, we turn to St. Bede junior lineman Michael Slingsby. The Bruin big man came up huge in the final moments of the St. Bede's 28-20 win over Erie Prophetstown Friday, forcing a fumble in the backfield in the red zone to help preserve the Academy victory. Thanks for watching NT Prep Preview, and check us out next week for more Pigskin Playoff talk
Playoffs!
at www.newstrip.com.
/.
Sports!